My children have moved on. My wife has divorced me. So what am I? Am I a poet? Where does poetry come from? It comes from the soul, from your heart.
To me, he was really smart, on the verge of a genius. That's what I would call him.
He was just so talented, you know, back then.
I am the man of words, of light. I am spinning the web of one, of culture, of the heart and mind. I am crazy, passion and madness. My camera eye, the light, the shimmering shadows of sounds, of movement and color. The mirror will surely cut you if you believe what you see. Glass and silver, reflections, deflections, bipolar. The power of the man of words. I am the man of words. I am this man called Z.
Some patients with bipolar have a creative background, and that they may experience that in various ways when they're experiencing their illness.
He likes writing.
Yeah.
I think he gets all his feelings out on a paper.
I would like to put a book together, a book that's readable. I'm not a PhD in psychology, but I think my insight is greater than a lot of these PhDs because it's my reality. If you have the heart to read poetry, then read Z, and you will see. I go by Z because that's my poetry name, that's my art name. Because Zbigniew was difficult for people to pronounce, and then they wanted to know how to spell it, so an introduction of a name became like a major thing. So I just said, fuck it, I'm Z. What's your name? Z, last letter of the alphabet, get it? He goes, how do you spell it? Z-E-E? No, Z. Okay, this is what I do in the morning. Like, usually I wait for the sun just to rise, like 6:30, or whenever the sun rises during the year. And I just like to go through the alleys and see if there's something nice out there, like a Hammond organ or a slashed Rembrandt, or, you know, or some forlorn female. Of course, I find none of the above. This is pretty clean. Should I take it? No. Fuck it, man. This is just the size I need. It really is pretty nice. You know, once it's laid out. Or I could even put it in my bedroom. Be realistic. Would you like to make love to a woman on this carpet? See what I mean? Look at this. What a piece of shit. Isn't it a table? I always think of a poet, someone who is like this romantic dude, surrounded by beautiful women, reciting his poetry amongst the blossoms of the spring. A kind of an Orpheus of poetry, you know. Mind. When your mind opens, you become again. When your mind opens, You can see around corners. When your mind opens, you say, "What the fuck is this? I'm back at last. This paradise I walk." When your mind opens up, you lose your mind. Now, all that ever was and shall be is here. This to be, no one, this totality. When your mind opens, you no longer despise, hate one another. You fly, a drag amongst the ashes. This such thing, mind. Mind and the universe, and God, and overwhelming beauty, and me, and my mind. I wrote a poem and I said, wow, this is really pretty neat, man. I go, I like it. And then I would suddenly be inspired to do another. So I write about the things that are relevant in my life. Although they do touch a much more, I hope, a more universal language. People have reacted to my work and they really appreciate it. So I said, well, maybe there's something here, you know.
You see the beginning, the end. It wiggles. Thank you.
He was never a poet when he was a kid, only because of the language barrier.
I'm born in Warsaw, Poland, 1951, which makes me 55 now. Yeah, I was there till I was 13. My father was really in love with this society and this culture in America, and he came here to visit, fell in love with the country, and says, we're moving.
Then we came here and we had to start from scratch. That was tough.
My folks used to go over to his house when we were kids, and they used to bring a bottle of vodka, and they would sit at the kitchen table, and they would drink all night.
I was already chasing girls and tried my hand in wine. Got sick like a dog on New Year's Eve. You see the parents go away. Na zdrowie, as they say in Polish.
He was real shy, and he had an accent, but he used to do sketches, great sketches. Yeah, and he'd make me sit, he'd make me sit in a little chair or something, and he'd sit there and he'd be drawing me.
He showed me drawings of his, and I was amazed that somebody could do that. He was already, Da Vinci-esque in his drawings and so forth.
Occasionally I like to flip through my drawing pads. And I sometimes astonish myself and I say, God, that's really damn good, man. Oh, shit, this fucking crap I used to do, man. And that's my art, man, it's my hand. Oh, that is beautiful, man. I used to do this shit, I don't believe this, man. It's like, who the fuck is this guy anyway? Some kind of a genius or what? This is when I first came to this country, man. This is my first home.
All of us would go over there and hang out. There was a bunch of us girls, and then there was the band. He was cute. He had, I liked his smile, and actually I liked his nose. At the time, the Beatles were very popular then, and he looked like Ringo.
We played right here in this area. This here, I had the drums set up right there. I used to come down and play for hours straight, like going nuts, When you're young and you take a little speed, man, forget it.
We would drink our beers, smoke some pot, but that's what you did back then.
So imagine, this is the main wall. This is the bed where we did some sexual experiments. I had my desk over there, and we started the whole thing with the pattern right on this wall.
We used to hang out in his room. He asked me to come over because he wanted to show me something. He goes, look. Oh, hello.
Oh boy, that was a strange looking bedroom.
No, he did nice.
Well, that's what I
walls.
mean, but I said nobody has a bedroom like that.
Nobody gonna do
Yeah,
that.
he painted everything and he would like make little squares,
That was
black and
with
white,
the
black
pen-
and
little
the whole
pencil,
walls.
The whole, even ceiling. That was beautiful.
You smoke a little dope, forget it, man. It was like heaven. And people used to come here just to sit here in this room. It became like a shrine.
He was getting heavy into dope, smoking. We didn't give a shit. You know, we were Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix. We were doing whatever the hell we were doing. And, well, you know, if you go, right? So what's to worry?
He had a really bad trip at one time. His first trip, I think.
He was at home and he was doing some LSD. And I guess he blew a fuse or something.
Following day, I was still fucked up because I had a memory of a biblical passage which says that there will be a dark cloud over your house. My father laid out a bunch of fucking Swiss Army knives on the table. I go, oh my God, they're gonna murder me. And as I'm reading the Bible, the fucking lights go off. And I go, oh, that's it, they're coming to get me now. They turn the fucking lights off so no one will witness the murder.
I wasn't with him on this particular trip, and he tripped out and he went to the church, which was literally around the corner from him, and started banging his head on this fairly solid oak door, saying that he wanted to see God.
I jumped over the fences and I came and banged on his door. And I yelled for God to open the gates for me. I consider this a place of refuge. I figured it's a house of God, you know. He'd protect me from the devil. And so I was banging on the door and all the neighbors came out in their pajamas. And they called a paddy wagon, came and picked me up. They took me to Reed Zone mental institution. And of course the LSD messed up my mind big time. Because I had nothing to relate to, and there was no one there for me. There was no one there to love me or hold my hand.
I think that's when things started going different for him. I'm not, I don't want to say for sure, but to me that's kind of when he changed a little bit.
I went through this analysis, this really serious, analysis of mood disorders.
He was in a fairly serious state at that point already when he was brought in. It sounds like he had been hospitalized already, and he was struggling to accept his illness.
What was your name? Your name was?
Dr. Connolly.
Connolly, yes.
Yeah.
You have objections to my recording?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, good. That's a good start.
He had a lot of things he was trying to do. I mean, the fact that he had all those tape recorders on, he was on to his next project and probably trying to get it going. And the last thing he wants is his wife bringing him in and interrupting,
My wife called in. She made arrangements for me to talk to one of the people here. She initiated the whole thing, so I am here for her sake.
We both had interest in the arts. I thought he had really, really exceptional talent. So we did a lot of things together. It was a pretty exciting life. We had a lot of friends. We had a lot of parties. Once we, by virtue of being parents, were required to be more responsible. In other words, to be able to care properly and, keep food on the table, a roof over our head, etc., etc. I noticed that, he is acting really goofy.
I started doing a documentary, and I pretty much talked to the camera throughout because it's more like a self-portrait, and there is some really very interesting footage there. I've never shown this to anyone before.
This is a self-portrait of a kind. This alley is intentionally out of focus, so you don't really see the alley. What you see is a reference to an alley. The way your mind operates is that you don't really see the world around you. What you see is a kind of just a reference, like, I am here, I am... You don't even think about it. Everything is done automatically. But occasionally, you come upon beauty.
It must have been hard. I mean, I was young. I guess I didn't really know what was happening too much. I didn't know about his mental problems.
Who is this, my morning boy? Mm-hmm. Did you sleep well, boy?
Yeah.
Sorry I wasn't around yesterday, but I had to do my work.
Sorry.
You probably had a good time anyhow.
Yeah.
You're so pretty, I want to get a real close-up on your eyes.
I don't want to say we were kept in the dark, but it's not like Mom sat us down and said, you know, your dad's crazy.
Okay, boy. Beauty in its fundamental form.
That's you, huh?
He started us off well. You know, he was a very kind father and loving, very much.
This is my brain. We're looking for the causes of manic depression. I hope I get a decent person for a psychiatrist.
Hey.
Yeah, no problem.
What's going with this camera?
What about it?
You're taking pictures of the hospital, sir.
Well, that's what's wrong with that.
Nothing.
Okay. It's no problem. Then
Hospital policy. Well, fine, we're gonna
Okay, I'll turn it off.
No, it's too late for that. We're gonna confiscate your
No,
film,
you're
sir.
not.
Yes, we
No,
are.
you're not.
Then we confiscate
Okay,
the camera.
I'm gonna take it.
You either give me the film or we take the camera.
Okay. I gave my mother a hard time this morning, being like a total idiot. Co?
Co chcesz? Inne razy będziesz przychodzić.
Okej, ja się wysunę. Dobranoc. Do zobaczenia. Ale ja chciałam pójść do kliniki, żeby mnie sprawdzili, moją psychikę. Mama rozumie? Bo ja uważam, że niektórzy uważają mnie za wariata nadal.
Uważają,
Ja chciałem, żeby psychologii, professional,
żeby się lekarz
sprawdzili mnie.
sprawdził.
O, ja siebie sfilmuję.
I tego, i jak
Ja się nie obawiam. Ja jestem prostym, mam prostą twarz.
To nie o to chodzi.
Ja nie mam nic do
Żebyś
schowania.
się leczył.
Nic. Ja jestem prosty człowiek, najprostszy na świecie.
Nikt nie mówi, że ty nie jesteś prosty, nie jesteś krzywy. Ale trzeba...
Więc dlaczego mi nikt nie zapłacił za moją pracę?
When he's in this state, he fights with her all the time.
Nie chciałabym, żeby źle o nim mówić specjalnie.
Oni chcą prawdę, right? You want the truth.
Mania, loud and obnoxious, intolerant, practically no sleep, 1,000 projects, most meaningless but ever so important at the moment. Depression. Withdrawing from friends, family, and the world. No appetite, lousy sleep, thoughts of suicide, sense of shame.
Bipolar has both poles. You know, there's the manic, but there's also the depressive. In this patient, which is not uncommon, now he hasn't sought treatment. He's already 39, I think, at this point when he came in to be evaluated. He's been suffering with bipolar now for many years.
So right now I've been like free of either main manic episodes or main depression. I want to show you guys a portrait of me when I was depressed. This will be shocking to you. It's what I call a portrait in depression. It's an impression on a wall that outlines my silhouette. The paint actually bubbles up in the area that outlines my form. It's just totally freaky, man.
This is a consequence of depression. And you can tell by looking at it that it didn't happen overnight. It's because I lingered here because depression is such that you do not do much. It looks like 5 years almost.
You're doing a portrait of a poet.
Portrait of a
poet?
poet
Yeah.
who doesn't even know it.
You're a poet, don't know it? Your feet show it, you're Longfellows. You wouldn't know a poet if you saw it. I'm taking 2 ounces. A generous 2 ounces. Can I have some papers with this?
Yeah, me too.
Free papers?
Me too, son.
Bitch. Come on,
Half a
Jake.
buck. I gave him coupons.
Jake, if I have to pay for goddamn papers, it makes no sense to buy them here.
You don't have to pay. Give me back the tobacco, you
Well, I'm asking you, I know I don't have to pay.
Boy, I gotta take care of these bums all the time. Here, bum. Here, bum.
Bum?
It's more like it.
Yeah, you're bum.
It's more like Mr. Bum.
No, you're not sophisticated. You're a bum.
Oh, you know what? If it wasn't for Jagos like me, people like you'd go hungry. Ooh. Like that one, huh?
No, I don't get
If
it.
it wasn't for cocksuckers like me, no. If it wasn't for pricks like me, cocksuckers like you would go hungry.
Well, that makes more sense. That I could.
You had to bring them in, huh? You gonna take the machine with you?
Oh yeah, that's why we're here.
This is a gambling machine, bro. Here's the payout.
Chumura Yati.
I don't know where the money goes in.
Tobacco shop, I go there. It was just a little aside, you see. Life is full of asides like that. If it's not one thing, it's another. You gotta go see a doctor, you gotta go pick up wine, you gotta worry about where your next dollar is gonna come. My life is more about worry than about living. You know, poetry is something that just sort of happens. And how do you pin that down? You know, a good ping pong player, you can film him and his technique, right? And so on. A sculptor is using his chisel, you can watch him at work. A painter, you know, slaps paint. What do? I sit here with my notebook and I write. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, Debbie, how are you? Where's my money? Yeah, what about it? Look, I'm taking you to court. I don't care about Johnny. It's your boyfriend, not mine. Yeah, he owes me goddamn $65, damn it. Don't give me this shit about Johnny. He owes me goddamn money. He's gonna play games with me? Well, tell him to get fucked. No, I don't want you to pay the money. I want my fucking money. I'm not asking you for a handout. I'm asking you to compensate me for what you stole. Fucking Jewish cunt.
Sometimes it gets out of hand. We had a lot of trouble because of that, you know, with the neighbors, with the police.
You know, my neighbor over there, she fucking calls cops on me every time I put music on.
He thinks he can play music as loud as he wants to all night long. And the neighbors can't sleep.
It's loud.
Oh,
he likes
I can
music,
Yeah, but Mom, when the police comes, it's time to stop, and he doesn't.
Yeah, so she called me, you know how many times I've been in jail because of music? 5. I'm serious.
It's not a very happy picture when he's like that. It gets me in
But
trouble.
everything is changed. Now he's okay.
Yes, now he's okay,
He's
but we'll
okay.
see. Because, okay, he's already changing.
I bet you guys don't know this song. Look what they've done to my song, Mom. Here, let me show you how this works, man. This actually works. It has a dual function, I discovered.
Look what they've done to my song, to my hand, a good home to live in. Wish I could find a good one.
This is from the 60s. You can see her nipple, man.
Well, they kicked it like a jerking ball, and I think I'm half insane. Look what they've done.
Right. What do I do for a living now? I smoke cigarettes, drink wine, collect my check, and
Thanks to our government supporting him, he's just lived off that. He doesn't have to do anything, but he goes out and spends his money on needless things.
2, 1. Uzbekistan!
He's sick now. He can work.
Well, he hasn't been working for I don't know how many years. 15 years at least.
No.
Yeah.
Not so.
At least.
Maybe,
12
but not
maybe.
too long. No.
Mom, I don't even remember the last time he worked. One time he dragged some kind of a whole bunch of wood, piles of wood, and he put them in a yard, and of course they called the police again, and the police came and they said, you have to get rid of it because this is a fire hazard or something. He said he needs the wood because he's gonna build things. I said, what you gonna be building?
The chair is gonna be like at the level of the height of my garage when I sit up there. And actually it's designed for meditating into the sun. You close your eyes into the sun.
He gets those big ideas, yeah. And
Idea,
he really
very
believes
big
he can
idea.
do it.
Look, it's perfect.
With Rasputin.
I'm not yet, G. Something funny going on here. I want to find out what it is.
Gentlemen, we shall make art today. Look what I just did. I made the wrong cut, man. Now I take a piece of scrap wood and I find a nice clean area and I use it for spreading the glue. Because if you touch this shit, man, you won't wash off with soap. It's really fucking powerful, man. You know, if you hate a woman, glue her legs together with this shit, man. And she'll never fuck a guy. You know what? Why the fuck am I doing this? Your guess is as good as mine. This is it, man. So we got the basic components. The other one I'm gonna shoot with the diagonals. This is gonna be so fucking cool, man. I'm gonna have Z right in the middle. You know, it's gonna be boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it's gonna be a signature piece. You know, a crazy idea if you take it to the extreme and do it. It's a playful thing, and it serves both functional and as a sculpture. Who knows, maybe that's the apex of my fame. Here is a man who built a 10-foot chair.
He built a chair on the top of the. Who gonna sit over there on the top?
His wife would tell me things about him staying up like for days, you know, doing stuff. Like I can't imagine what you'd be doing for like 3 or 4 days and nights in a row. And I didn't really ask.
Marriage is coming to some kind of a strange crisis. My wife cannot at all abide by my unusual behavior, which is very hectic.
It got to the point where he would just not eat, not sleep, drink, and go off on these goofy tangents, you know, making artwork, and it wasn't his good stuff either. It was just strange, hard to describe.
I think we're gonna be good friends, and I'll make you a special cage. A crystal palace lined with mirrors, so there'll be thousands of chicken whichever way you look.
You know, he gets crazy in the head when he's manic, and it's, you can't tie him down. There's nothing that you can do.
Energetic, like he would like, he was like jumping around all the time.
Lately, I think the camera, unfortunately, becomes like your pal or something, and, or you might say an inseparable companion, a friend. I keep on thinking about this camera in terms of, in many different ways, this camera has been influencing me. I can do anything I want. Portrait of an artist.
Do you think you can manage that instead of taping? You know, do something constructive with your time, like help somebody out?
What do you mean, guess not? What kind of shit is that? Morning. Can I have some light on the subject?
Get out of here. Take your camera with you. I am trying to get the children to school. I don't need your games. I don't need your candles. I don't need your squashed flowers. Nothing.
Who's manic
And
here?
neither
Who's
do they.
manic?
I'm not manic. I'm pissed. Now go do what you're supposed to do.
You mean when I'm pissed, I'm not manic?
I'm trying to get the kids to school. I mean it. You get that fucking thing out of my face. We've got better things to do.
Like what?
Like get the children ready for school.
I'm doing my art. I'm an
It's
artist.
not art. You're teasing me. And I'm tired of it.
As William Blake would have it, to see a world in a grain of sand, and to see the whole world reflected from that one drop of water. And yet, that, for most of us, is insufficient. We have the enormous task of making lots of money. We have the enormous task of living in this world of confusion. And the further we look away, the more enormous our task becomes. For what good is it being a normal person? A normal person.
It's a blessing that God gives you this beautiful energy. It's like being on fucking cocaine 24/7. And the thing is, if you can achieve a level of humility, fucking mania cannot touch you at all.
People drawn towards the brilliance flocked in. Like a moth to fire they came. They lived in communes in the forest. They listened to him. They have overcome death. Walking the village paths, they took out their begging bowls. They ate and drank and listened and danced and understood and saw.
We're gonna pick up wine and make Xerox copies for this new poetry book. I can't wait to see it, man. It should be ready soon. So with these 4 Xerox copies for him, it's complete, it's all in his hands.
When he first brought the stuff to me, he was trying to find some way to generate some kind of income, I guess. So we came up with the idea of just creating a simple book that he could produce, and he'll bring in little, pieces of paper with his poetry and his artwork, because he's picked out from the poetry some photograph or some image that he feels relates to the poem. He's a smart guy. He's a very talented guy. I respect his abilities. I mean, well, the two of us can walk down the street and look at a brick wall, and he'll say, "Do you see this?" And I go, "No, it's a brick wall." "No, look." And then, "Don't you see the face or the colors, the shapes and forms that I won't notice until he'll point it out to me?" That fine line between genius and insanity. Some of that bipolar, his disease, is actually what makes him see things. His view of things is different than than the average guy's view. In talking with him, you know that there's, he does have some problems, and that goes back quite a few years.
I got the itch, man.
Now I think he's progressively gotten a little worse, but I suppose that's the nature of the beast.
Well, Z shows up here when he has one of his little booklets that he wants printed. We are his preferred printer.
Yeah. No, this is not right.
He has a little hard time understanding that the moment he walks in the door isn't when his production starts.
So if it was supposed to be ready yesterday, then how come it's not ready today is the question.
To be honest, I dread it. I do. Because it's chaos.
Come on, you got the numbers there, and I think that this, you just do it.
Shush, go to your room.
Oh.
Just comes in here and basically it's just because he's loud, whatever, it's disruptive. His poetry. Is it poetry?
Oh God, I love that poem. It is beautiful.
We never got quite the right parchment. He is very picky when it comes to parchment.
Yeah, the tissue is not quite what I had in mind.
So we're
okay. I trust your judgment, and you go ahead and buy the wrong thing. What the fuck, I want a tissue, God damn it. You want me to bring you a fucking example of what tissue?
No, it says tissue right on the package.
I don't give a fuck what it says. You could say toilet paper, it'd be the same fucking thing.
Hey, I got some toilet paper. Should we try that?
Even better off.
Usually brings a little bottle of something along with him. He's partial to brandy. I've already had my tea or coffee break for the day, but I get a little brandy break sort of thrown in whether I want it or not.
Take a good one.
Mm-hmm. The fact that he's a roaring alcoholic and a few things, hey, that's more his problem than mine, I guess. If I drank what he did, I'd have been dead years ago.
Drinking and smoking, that's what brought about all these problems. And you don't want to do it. You don't want to help yourself.
You know what? If I had a woman to inspire me, it sure was hell would help.
Not that he doesn't realize the problem, but he's unable to cut down on his drinking and quit smoking. Of course, smoking hurts no matter how much you smoke. Breathe a little bit.
Okay. Am I good?
I am waiting for you to...
to what?
to quit smoking.
There he goes, fucking lecturing me all the
to
time.
cut down on drinking.
My husband, his father, he used to work in show business all his life.
He used to work with the theater, which was like really a high profession. Here it is, my father's grave. Oh, he was only 61, I think. He's pretty young. It's like 2 years from me. He did have some kind of strangeness about him. He did have episodes of madness.
His father was an alcoholic. I remember in the last years of his life, he would lay in bed drinking his vodka or whatever it was.
I think, he's dying now. And so every time I see him, it's like I'm going to visit my dying father. Nobody wants to see him go, but he will soon if nothing changes.
Where's the funeral? Whose? Yours or mine?
That's what was happening today. I'm sitting there and stop my pulse.
It feels good to cough, man. You want to buy my poetry?
No, I can't.
Oh, come on.
I don't understand English. What do you want?
Hey,
let Drew buy it.
But my poetry is good.
If he was in Russian language.
What'd you say, poultry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a pound of chicken.
I do poultry.
Chicken. Poultry.
I'm not even
No, this is
Somewhere on the shelf over here.
no. This is a new one.
Fucking
I can't
bad.
afford it.
Hey, Rube.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy my book?
It ain't good. How's the paper?
It's $20.
Is the paper soft?
It is. I carve you. It will not
I
rot.
can buy toilet paper.
Toilet paper. You see, they compare my poetry to fucking toilet paper.
He's put a lot of money now into these, his poetry books, and with the hopes of selling them and making money off of it. I don't think he has made much, fortunately.
If you ain't Picasso, and Picasso's on the top, and there's 500 million people underneath him that are trying to be Picasso.
It's a shame he doesn't have a better way of getting it out there and doing something with it. But I imagine if you didn't let him write, he'd probably lose it. I think he has to write. He's constantly writing. I guess that's his output now.
I put on lipstick I put down for their sake. You see, it's like you're almost sacrificing yourself because lipstick connotates the redness of blood. And for their sake is a biblical term. So you see in that one fucking sentence, simple sentence, it's pregnant with connotation. Dirty looks. They look at me. I wear lipstick for their sake. Is he crazy? A loon or stoned? You see what you've done?
I said, you drink too much wine or something, your whole mustache is red. It's lipstick. I said, you are too crazy. Go and wash your face.
Yeah,
She has all of them.
He sold me for $20. Not
Yeah.
for free.
And for
forget
me,
it.
he sold me for $15.
Yeah,
He said, I got the
and
better
20,
price.
20, the old ones. And now
He
the
said,
new
you want to
ones.
buy some more? I said, no, I think one book.
$60 for a book.
Oh, she's still
The
here.
same.
My God,
the
she
same
was in
thing
a
like
hurry.
me.
I asked her to cut my hair. Oh, I gotta run.
Yeah, get rid of those boards over there. Because we don't need them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I do.
Okay.
You know why?
You don't need it because you don't
Because I'm
do
making
it.
a sculpture.
What sculpture now?
I'm gonna create it.
No, take to the garage
In the
or
boards?
the basement.
You stay away from my boards.
They're gonna be
You
rain,
come
they're
with
gonna
me,
be
I'll hit 'em
snow.
in the head.
What you doing, stupid thing? Take some place.
If you're starving, you can't buy a book.
Shut up! I already bought a book. How many
Yeah, I
books
said
I
buy
need?
another one so I could have some money.
Oh yeah.
And you said, oh, I
Is
have
it
no,
my fault you
I
didn't
don't
have
have
money?
$20 fucking dollars, man.
Did I spend all your money? No.
He tells me how his mother is so horrible and hates him because she won't loan him $20 to buy wine. If he didn't live in the building where he does, beneath his mom, he probably would have been homeless a long time ago.
Yeah,
He's doing crazy
I
stuff.
told him maybe you want some medicine. You're gonna need it, maybe some medicine. He said, no medicine. Forget it.
He said, I'd rather drink a glass of wine. That's his medication. But it's not always the best thing.
There is no medicine. The whole bipolar disorder is a fiction, man. There is no illness. The whole fucking thing, I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy by those who want to make a lot of money and make misery out of your life. People walk around like zombies because they believe they're sick. You tell someone they're sick, they become sick. Here, let me show you something. Yeah, there it is. Bipolarism, my ass. I'm writing on bipolar. because I want to come across straightforward. That's what I think about it. Who knows? He might be $1 million seller. And I'm gonna pepper it with poetry and imagery. It's gonna be a nice book, man. And the things I have to say will be significant to those who suffer their illusion of bipolarism. Do you want to know what poetry is? Why don't we watch this tape? Just wait, this is just the beginning, man.
This is how I see him, okay? So when I see him now, the way he is, it's not the person I knew, you know, so I thought maybe I could help him. He's talking onto this microphone and he's going like this, gee, I wonder if Bubbles' daughters would like to know that she's a big whore and she sleeps with men for favors. And he's going, I go, oh my God. I go, what is wrong with you? You know, I go, I was like so mad. I grabbed my stuff and I just left, walked out the door, and he's running out. I'm in my car and I don't know how he got out of that house so fast. He's in the middle of the street screaming for me as I'm driving down the street. That was the end. That was the end. I never. Then he started leaving me all the messages and all the letters, and I recognize you and you know, yet wonder why squander your emotional energy on an empty cause. It just goes on about he can't believe that, oh, you cannot fix me, repair me, or change me. That was probably the first letter. They just kept coming. Sometimes I would come home and there'd be 3 or 4 letters in the mailbox. So all these letters are from the month of July.
Good morning, Bubbles. Good morning, Bubbles. Good morning, Bubbles.
Good morning, Bubbles. Good morning, Bubbles. Good morning, Bubbles. I shall now read for Bubbles, whom I will call right now. Bubbles? Just wait one moment, please. I'm looking for my notebook. I can read the poem. She'll come when I'll... Oh my God, I read this before. This is not the right poem. Fuck it, let's go another one. Gasping mouth. God damn it, this is not it. His kingship. Fuck man, I read this shit too. They took me to the nut house. You know what, I don't want to read what happened to me. Who gives a fuck what happens to Z? This is, oh, I forgot, Bubbles. Bubbles? Oh God, I forgot about you. I'm gonna redial. You know, I'm sorry, Bubbles.
I could see the same person that he was, but I can also see the person that he is now. I see the manic side of him, and I really don't like to go there.
O, tu jest. Nie, gdzie jest ten drugi telefon? Dziecko schowałaś. Bo ja ten rozpierdolę. I słuchaj, nie będzie miała nic.
No pójdziesz do więzienia?
Ja, gdzie jest ten drugi?
Ja cię zaraz tylko zrób mi tutaj coś. Policja! Ratunku! Ja zaraz zawołam. Ratunku! Policja! Policja! Ratunku! Ratunku!
Man, what a trip being in jail. After 3 weeks being locked up, I thought it would be just one of these stupid, ridiculous little things, you know, and they'd let me go. But no. So I went out there, and I was out of money, and I begged her to borrow me some money. And I attacked her door with a circular saw. To cut myself into the place. I really fucked up, man. It was a nice door.
What are you supposed to do?
My housekeeper, she was scared to death. Yeah, but what are you supposed to tell him? I said, don't tell him nothing, just be quiet, the best. He likes himself so much, oh boy, nobody else. Not his children, he got beautiful children too. Girl, a boy, he was married. And after the divorce, everything changed.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is keep this informal and casual.
Yeah, you want to talk? Because I really can't speak for her, but it was her idea that we should come here to begin with because she felt that I was definitely unstable.
I actually been real worried about him, but lately it's just been so much of the thing. It's very long because I just can't handle it myself. I think I love him. I don't even know that anymore.
I don't know who started this whole hysteria of being really out of my mind, number one. I believe that my wife has started a hysteria amongst her friends, because everyone is turning against me and they consider me quite a monster.
Well, people were
Certainly not
calling
from
me
me to
to
look at these ideas, you know.
Well, people have been calling me and asking
And you go ahead and lay this crap on them, that is this and that, right?
I don't tell them what to do. I don't know what's wrong with you.
I felt like, well, what can I do? What can I do to make him become a more, the loving person he used to be? And there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could do. Nothing I tried worked. I tried understanding him. I tried letting him do what he wanted. I tried suggestion. I tried, coercion. Come on, let's try to get ourselves better. Never worked. And it always ended up that I was the one getting yelled at and blamed, and at some point, that kind of, I figured it was going to kill me, if not both of us.
Think about it, Wapata. It makes no sense what she's doing. I have pleaded with her. Carol, have you no soul?
My soul is fine.
Your soul is fine? Well, I don't think it is. And I think you have no right to destroy my children. By the way, you're losing weight. You're almost beginning to look like fuckable kind of a phenomenon. If I may use so rude a language, which only goes to exemplify how I have abused her all my life, because I'm a rotten, good-for-nothing motherfucker.
That kind of abuse is very, very real. Ask anyone who's been in it. I know other women who have been abused by men in that way, and it's very, very exhausting, especially when it's coming from someone whom you love.
To be or not to be, who gives a shit, really? What do you say, old bloke? Huh? Let's go out and have a drink, no? Something good and strong, huh?
Well, I'm done. I'm not gonna be your patsy anymore. I'm not your punching bag. Out I go. We just divorced and that was that. Okay. It was a scary thing having 2 little kids, having to work. I didn't have like a really well-paying job or anything. I think I was making like $8 an hour. And at one job and minimum wage at the other, and I worked 7 days a week for about 2 years. I was always at work every day. Get home as soon as I could. We didn't do much, but it worked.
We did plenty.
Yeah. Yeah,
we had a good life.
We made it.
Me and my sister, I don't know if we were poor, but me and my sister never thought of our lives that way. I think, we were very comfortable, well-fed, taken care of. Life was pretty normal.
I decided I would put this mop on my head and I'm just gonna wash the floor with my head, And it's like an expression of like really deep pain.
Sei a merda. You lost your children. You'd be bad too.
I really missed the kids, and the worst thing was there was no communication at all in the beginning. He drove me nuts. I was going insane.
At this point in my life, I just can't see him. I urge the kids to go and visit him. He is their dad. He is their dad. He loves them. I know this. They know it.
I just see Oliver once in a while. He's gonna be 21 in a month. Less than a month, he's gonna be 21.
It was easy to ignore Dad. We didn't want to hear it. It was very easy to just put him out of our lives, actually.
I don't see my daughter at all.
Now Emily does not care to see him. The last few times she's been over there have been painful for her.
When the marriage broke down, she just stayed with her mother and didn't express any interest in really communicating.
You know, we had been out for quite some time, probably a couple of years, and a friend of ours had gone over to help him clean up, and all of our old stuff was still there, coated in dust. Just like time stopped.
Completely.
And everything just stayed there and got, piled over.
Jesus, I don't want to talk about it. Well, here I am. I'm in prison, and I'm gonna be going through all this shit, and I know what I'm gonna go through. And it's gonna be horrible. And I say, I just walked away from myself. And I think that triggered the whole progression of depression. I don't know how to put it. You can't put it into words. It's just this perpetual pain. Even if I could explain to you, you still wouldn't understand. Silence feels good.
Hey, hello, anybody there? Anybody home? Toothless bitch is this imposed pain. And it really has no face. The best face I can put on it is the toothless bitch up on the roof. Toothless bitch up on the roof, grinning down a jeer. At me, she shrieks, her breathless grin, a victory cry from here to near. In a darkened semicircle, no doors, no wind, no air. Cheerless whore looks down from yonder, sees me sitting there, alone. The sound of television, my companion, emptiness, no people, but the toothless bitch grinning looks into my kitchen where I sit alone with my television.
You're really describing a pattern of what very well may be a manic-depressive illness. I must say that at this point, I do feel that medication would be helpful to you in preventing such a fluctuation. Not that that would cut down on your creativity. And my concern, again, would be if we didn't, at this point, try the medication and see if it did help, that at some point in the future, you would have a severe experience.
I would suggest that we wait and see if I go into a state of some kind of depression again.
Okay, that's up to you.
That's my opinion,
right.
yes.
And I guess I'm just giving you my recommendation.
I appreciate it, yes. I don't think I will fall back into depression.
He's been through already many episodes. He's seen things didn't work the way they wanted. He would like to see them work out in his life. He hasn't been as productive. He probably has a sense that he's talented in so many ways, but he's not able to actually reach the goals, that he sets for himself. And they can get to the point where they feel suicidal. They want to hurt themselves. There's a high risk of suicide.
My objective was to film myself, to prove to the world, especially those who knew all along, that I was crazy, just as they thought. Because I'm bipolar. And that's why I'm making this thing, so everybody will be justified in the end. Because when I kill myself in a minute,
I think I just came out of a nut house and I was here by myself. I start going up and up and up. I start flying and it gets out of hand too. I mean, completely out of hand. Yeah, it's like shaving of the head and like speaking crazy things while the camera is just running on and on, This is my life. For someone in my condition, because it's so shabby and my life is so shallow and empty. The idea of not existing at all is appealing. I never thought it through completely, but at some point I came to the conclusion that suicide would be fruitless because it wouldn't accomplish anything. What's there to celebrate, It's just a birthday. I have reached the age of 58, so I should be wise in some way. Yeah, fuckways, man. And, oh my gosh, who could that be? Oh, hi. How you doing, Emily? Like being back home again, huh? It feels nice that you came. Hey, Ali.
Happy birthday.
This is my grown-up son.
Hardly.
Don't get picky about the
This
glass.
thing is filthy.
Look at this. Look how filthy it is down
I told you it's disgusting. I've been like rubbing it.
I know. You guys probably think this is sentimental music. To tell you the truth, exactly it is. Our dreams we used to share. The breeze and I. The breeze and I. It's delightful. Are you seriously leaving?
Sure.
You're just gonna take off on your own?
Yeah.
I don't know if Edison rounds at this hour. Do you know? Are you gonna leave now?
Apparently at 10:30 it stops at 9.
Yeah, it sucks. So you're just gonna hop on and go.
Okay.
Happy birthday. You wanna walk us out?
That's my life, you know, these pieces, you know, these pieces, little pieces. That was nice. I appreciate that very much. Well, you saw Emily today. She is a little girl. Just a little girl. Incredible how life moves.
I hope that people haven't given up on him completely. Maybe if he knows that we all love him so much, that will help him get out of this or want to change.
A child, we all are. Some fuckers. But you are my love, my salvation, my teacher, Ali. No promises, and I just might call you a bitch again. I am your father, and father I'll be a bit longer. When I first showed him the poem, he cried. He actually shed tears. It was a very moving moment. I remember we were in the other room right next door. I said, yeah, it's for you. I wrote it for you. In a way, I'm saying, there's really not much I can teach you. You know, maybe what I'm saying is that life will teach you.
You know, I hope it's not in me the way it is with him. I know that, I guess, approaching the age where it was found in him, and if, my friends were to start to tell me that I'm acting weird with my history, I would seek help. And if it meant taking medication and not feeling myself, I hope that I would do it for the good of myself and my friends. It means a lot to have friends, without them. What does life even matter if you're by yourself?
I'm just, I'm not engaged in the world. I'm just here all alone. And the only contact with the world I have is essentially just what's on TV. We want to find a rope that will help us come out, the solution. The start is maybe in realization of the condition. I would like to revive, go out on the street and look at the sunlight. That's what I'm looking forward to, being alive again.
All the bells and whistles are there. They're going off all the time in this situation, and they're like big bells, they're gongs, they're sirens. But it's difficult to look at the life you're living while you're living it.
I mean, it would be elegant to say that we are as we perceive ourselves. The thing is, how does one understand oneself? It's a very heavy philosophical question. It's a question of knowing oneself, right? My low periods demanded of me to seek some kind of meaning in life, It's gotta be greater than art. I don't know, maybe there is a purpose to this kind of existence that I have. Like if I could find a solution to this problem of bipolar disorder, and if I could do something about it, really, it would be like a phenomenal breakthrough. And I think it has to do with personal transformation.